Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me, and once again, welcome back to another video game review. This time it is going to be on Borderlands 4, and I'm not going to have this mask on the whole time because you can barely hear me out of it, so I will have it on like this the whole time though, that way to keep in the spirit of Borderlands. But Borderlands 4 is the fourth mainline entry in the Borderlands series, where once again you play as one of 4 Vault Hunters. I played as Eamon the whole time, and throughout the game you explore a brand new world, this time not involving Pandora, but an open world environment where instead of exploring multiple different planets, you just explore a massive open world where you have to open up another vault, and you have to take down this man known as the Timekeeper, and throughout the game you're going to be doing what you've always been doing quests, getting a good amount of guns, because with Borderlands, it's all about getting the best types of guns to go up against these enemies. And I've always been a fan of the Borderlands series. I really liked the first 2 games. Hell, I even liked Borderlands 3. Was it a perfect game? No, but I don't think it's an awful game. Yes, the villains are bad. Yes, the writing isn't nearly on par with the second game. But I still think the game was a lot of fun. I liked a lot of the missions as well as the bosses. I thought it was still a fun game. It was very much playable. And it's far from being one of the worst things ever made. And I think we can all agree that the worst thing to come out of Borderlands wasn't even a game. Seriously, Uwe Boll might as well have directed that film. It wouldn't make it any better, but yeah, especially since I gave that movie my lowest rating, so yeah, imagine what would have happened if Uwe Boll did direct that. Oh boy. But yeah, even with some of the spin-offs, like Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which I think is fine. I absolutely love Tales from the Borderlands, the Telltale series. I heard the sequel wasn't good at all. But I had my doubts about Borderlands 4. And while I can't really say it's nearly on par with the second game, because the second game is one of my all-time favorites. With this game, I will say this. I do think it's a little bit better than 3. This game definitely plays it a lot more safe. Does it have problems? Yes, but it's something that I feel like we all kind of expected with this game. Other than the main issues being like the performance, because PC players definitely suffered a lot, even console players like myself. When the game tries to run at 60 FPS, later as you play the game, it definitely drops down to 30 FPS, which was an annoyance, but the only time the game really crashed for me was once, and that wasn't when I was playing online, because of course, the main thing to do in Borderlands is play online with friends, because it can get much more challenging later on, even on the easiest difficulty, as enemies will level up as you level up as well. But hey, when it comes to playing the game, there are so many good builds when you play as different characters, each having their own different abilities, just like the previous entries. It's always a lot of fun. I played as Eamon, and while he can get a little bit irritating with his dialogue once in a while, he was still a goat when it came to his character. I really loved playing as him, as well as the build that I made for him, like in terms of the power-ups I used. Yeah, skills can definitely be very helpful when going on more tough missions. And this game is full of content, like holy crap. It took me like over 45 hours just to beat the main story, including some of the missions, the side missions, some of which I actually did have fun with. There are a lot of ones involving Claptrap where they try giving him an emotional backstory as well as trying to get him a girlfriend. I couldn't really take it seriously, but I just loved how they tried to go a little bit more deeper into Claptrap. And no matter what happens in the Borderlands games, I always enjoy seeing Claptrap. It's a shame they couldn't do him justice in the movie, instead making him more like the robot Jar Jar Binks. But this time around, I still enjoy seeing Claptrap in the games. But hey, if you're not a fan of Claptrap, probably the funniest thing about this game is when you go to the options menu, you actually have the option to turn off his voice, which I think is going to be perfect for people who get annoyed by him easily, which, hey, was very intentional.
Bro, the Shredded Summit helped me get yoked out the transistors, bro. Check it out, bro. Help! I'm being silenced! You're just jealous. Psych! Say psych!
I had it on the whole time, but I think that's a very funny, like, option. So yeah, it definitely has its moments when it does come to its humor. There is a lot of toilet humor and, crotch humor and stuff like that. Some of which, yeah, it still has that same amount of lazy writing from the third game, but hey, just like with the previous entries, there are some pretty cool Easter eggs hidden here and there throughout the game, because that's one thing that Borderlands is also known for, is its Easter eggs and its references. Do they feel like they have much of a purpose? No, but they're fun to see once in a while. I should also mention how, the world, the cel-shaded visual style always looks incredible. When it comes to these games, I absolutely love the art style. It is absolutely gorgeous. It feels very unique. While, of course, there are a lot of other cel-shaded games out there, when it comes to this franchise, I always love the cel-shaded style that these games manage to bring. They are always very stylish and beautiful to look at. Even some of the bosses I had fun going up against, especially with other players too. Though the final boss isn't really the main final boss, I would have preferred if, some spoilers, by the way. After the supposed main final boss, there is another one that doesn't really add on a whole lot of challenge, but after the credits, there is just a brief amount of post-game content. But after that, then you can just explore the world and do the other side quests that you haven't done. Also, I should also mention the addition of new abilities that it has, like double jump, which is always a blessing. There's also a grapple feature, which I feel like every single game needs to have nowadays, because that's pretty much the rule of modern gaming. There always needs to be a grapple hook, but I enjoyed using the grapple hook. It does manage to get very helpful once in a while, especially since it does play a big part in terms of platforming and side missions that you do. And hey, like I mentioned before, there are a lot of side missions that I enjoy doing. It definitely feels like they had more of a purpose to the storyline, even though in reality they don't always feel like they have a purpose. But hey, it's nice to do with side missions once in a while in order to expand your game out a little bit, trying to make it feel more like it's worth the $70. Do I still feel like that's a little bit too overpriced? Yeah, especially since there is a season pass involving, DLC, more story-based content, which, yes, is always an annoyance, making the game cost like $110 total, but yeah. But other than that, I don't really care much for playing the game's DLC. I'm fine with just playing the base game, and hey, I'm happy that, when it comes to the game itself, when it comes to the weapons you get, there's no microtransactions or pay-to-win elements. All you need is to play the game to get more of these better weapons, and there are a great amount of guns. And while, yes, it does get repetitive with the gameplay, I feel like, it's always going to be that way, because they don't really do any, new ideas. It's always kill the Rippers, or, defend one area. And there's a huge amount of collectibles to get throughout the game. They're good to give you points, to upgrade your ammo inventory in terms of how much ammo you can carry on one gun to another gun, as well as some additional side stuff added in terms of what characters have to say. So yeah, I didn't expect this game to be brilliant. I would have liked it if there were some more surprises to the game, but what I enjoyed the most about the game was that I played it more safely rather than just going all overboard with its humor, because hey, they could have pulled another Calypso Twins type villain on us, and I wouldn't really say the villain was particularly memorable. It was still an improvement. Not by a whole lot, but hey, at least he wasn't going what is up, there's the Calypso Twins are coming at you live, be sure to like it, because by God, was that irritating to listen to. So hey, when it comes to the humor, it's definitely toned down a little bit. It does try adding in more emotion to the storyline. It's no tearjerker whatsoever, but hey, at least it does try things. While it does try things a little bit new, it doesn't always go over in the way that most players would expect. As for me, I still had fun with the game. I tried my best not to rush it, but because Hades 2 just came out, I also want to play Silent Hill F, and the fact that the new Ghost of Yotai comes out next week, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to beat the main storyline, but the only way I was going to do that was get more players, because playing alone, I feel like the reason a lot of the main missions start getting harder and harder and harder, because it encourages you to play online with friends, because I feel like that's always the purpose with these games. But hey, I still had fun with it regardless. In the end, guys, Borderlands 4 does try some things a little bit different. It doesn't always feel like, when it comes to the new things it adds in, it doesn't really always feel like it's fully new or fully fresh, it still manages to have a lot of fun. If you came for more looter shooter goodness, you're definitely going to get that here, but that doesn't always mean you're always going to get something fresh, as it does get repetitive. But for me, I still enjoy playing the game. It does have your titular cookie cutter enemies, and while it does feel like, I'm giving this game more negativity than I'm giving it for, that doesn't mean I didn't like the game. I do somehow liked it a little bit more than Borderlands 3, even though I did enjoy Borderlands 3. It's just going to depend what you expect. I get why people are criticizing the game because of its performance, but, it did add an update where the performance did run a little bit better, but again, it would have been better if they just added that in as soon as the game launched. But hey, regardless, I still enjoyed exploring this world nonetheless, getting a good amount of guns to go up against these enemies. The story's nothing to write home about, but hey, it plays it a little bit safer, and yeah, that's the most positive thing I can give this game. But hey, regardless, as a fan of the franchise, I had a fun time. Just like the last game, it's definitely not going to please everyone because, again, when it comes to the Borderlands series, it's bound to, lose a lot of what's made the second game so good, which is an absolute shame. I also should mention that some of the characters, they're cool, just not on that same level as what the second game did. But I shouldn't really expect another entry to be nearly as good as the masterpiece that is Borderlands 2. We're probably never going to get something like that ever again, but hey, nonetheless, as a fan of the franchise, I enjoyed it for what it was. And I'm just glad that, I got this off my list because, again, so many other games are coming out this year. Oh man, the end of the year is going to be absolutely crazy for me. It's going to destroy my bank account. It's going to destroy my will of just, being able to... It's just crazy how many games are coming out by the end of this year. But hey, I'm enjoying Hades 2 so far, and I definitely want to review that as well as every other main game I'm playing by the end of the year. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and maybe subscribe for more. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, or maybe Blue Sky. Links are in the description. And I'll see you guys later. Word out.